Pastors Roundtable this morning, and a bit of a unique show today on Pastors Roundtable. About 5 minutes after 9 o'clock, and we're at 63. And wanted to mention you're listening to News Radio 96.1 FM, News Radio 1310 KLIX, and News Radio 1310.com. And we've got two of our regulars, Pastor Christopher Folkerts. I do remember your name. That was a joke last week. And Pastor Paul Thompson. I'm going to let Paul introduce some of the others, though, today, because we have... Nate, have you been here before, though?
Visiting, yeah.
Yeah, okay, I remember that. But we'll let Paul do the other introductions.
Yeah, thanks, Bill. And by the way, Bill, thanks always for hosting the program with us. And
I don't have to talk for an hour. Are you kidding?
I know you give the hour to a bunch of pastors, and you just sit back and eat some popcorn or something. But
I sit back and get very frightened about my future.
Right. So yeah, it's always great to be here, and we do have Nate. Nate is here from. He's new in the community, an associate pastor at Magic Valley Bible Church. Pastor Bear was unable to be here, so he sent on the first string.
I don't know if I'd call it the first string.
He sent on Nate's we'll include Nate, especially here in the latter segments of the program today when we're talking about some marriage issues and such. But also today I've brought in a new friend of mine as well, Bill Blackman. He represents a ministry called Truckstop Ministries. And if you've traveled across the country and pulled into some of these big truck stops to, do whatever you need to do when you get there, you perhaps would find either a trailer out front or in one of the break rooms, a chaplain with Truckstop Ministries shows up and just opens up the Bible or sits there and gives care and ministry to truck drivers and really for whoever else is looking for some ministry. And so Bill is representing Truckstop Ministries. We have local Truckstop Ministries going on in the valley, and so I thought it'd be good for Bill to come in and kind of inform the community a little bit about Truckstop Ministries.
Amen. Well, first of all, let me just say thanks to Pastor Paul for allowing me to be here, and Mr. Bill. And I want to say I've gotten to know Pastor Paul just over the last few weeks here. I really enjoyed prayer meeting last night. So if you go to my YouTube channel, you're gonna hear a little bit about it. But I just want to share with everybody about Truckstop Ministries that we've been around for 40 years since 1981, and still yet a lot of people don't know about us. It was started by Joe and Jan Hunter from Georgia. March of 1981 is when it officially started. So this past March was our 40th year. Pre-COVID, we had 82 chapels in 29 states. We would love to have a chapel at every truck stop. But here locally, we've been using the TV room at the Travelers Oasis for probably about 16, 18 years, somewhere along in there. And as most of you probably know in this area, they're rebuilding that truck stop, going to build a new one. And so we're hoping to put an outside chapel there when they get the new one up and going. And so part of the reason I'm here, we're trying to get that started, which that's about a year down the road. But if you're going to have a chapel, you need chaplains. And so we're a volunteer organization, and we have about 4 guys here already in this area, great men of God that are volunteering for us. 3 of them are actually truck drivers. So that's a blessing in itself. But you don't have to be a truck driver. But it does help if you talk the language. If somebody says something about a 6NZ, do you know what they're taling about?
I have no idea.
But anyway, by the way, that's a Caterpillar.
Does it have
motor.
wheels and a hitch? I don't know.
Yeah. But real quickly, just a little bit about how it got started. Joe was just an owner-operator. He was a Vietnam vet, came back, bought a truck, went to trucking, and done all those things that truck drivers did back then, had a bad accident, really woke him up. And so he realized, as we read last night in Psalms 39, our life is frail, and he gave his life to the Lord. And then later on, he began to want to minister and go to church and all that stuff. And out of that desire, because there's very few churches you can actually park a 75, 80-foot truck. Nobody wants 80,000 pounds or more sitting on their parking lot. So out of that burden, he began to seek the Lord what he could do. And he just wanted to have one little chapel in close to Atlanta, Georgia, where he lived. It was his idea. And the Lord just began to open up doors for him, and one after the other. So now we have them literally all over the country. And because of COVID, we're now all over the internet. We have a YouTube channel called Truck Driving Preacher. I'm normally on there every morning, and every Sunday we do different chapels wherever I'm at. Facebook Live, of course, and all that other stuff. But it's amazing. Now, let me just share this real quick. This is a little truck driver from Georgia who started this, just an old country boy, just like me. And now we're helping in Africa. They have started the South African Christian Truckers Association, trying to do similar to what we're doing, and they follow us on internet. So it's amazing to be able to be used in a global ministry now from a little place over in Georgia. And by the way, I'm from a little place in Louisiana that nobody knows where it's at. But we do have a red light now, so we're moving up in the world.
By the way, when you mentioned how this is going global, just a quick question. I know there's a lot of godless people north of the border. Oh, wait, well, but you're probably all over North America now.
Yes, sir. Yes, it's amazing how that's happened. Matter of fact, last month, just Facebook alone, we had over 30,000 viewers on our Facebook page, which is just an amazing thing that you just never think about that. And we started doing this because of the COVID thing. And I actually had it's a long story, but I got really aggravated about the government shutting me down on my truck shows and my tent revivals inside the parking lot. So I did it in my backyard virtually for 12 days. And that's kind of what started this. And so it's been a really neat thing to see the drivers now. They all have their little Bluetooth headsets while they're riding down the road, and they listen and comment. I hope they're stopped when they're commenting. But anyway, it's been amazing how God has used this just kind of out of the box ministry. I actually have a lot of people listening that are not truck drivers now. So that's kind of amazing in itself. But just to give you some idea, most of our ministry is kind of one-on-one. We used to years ago have maybe 15, 20 drivers every once in a while in a chapel service. Now, if you have 6 or 8, you got a big crowd. But most of our ministry literally takes place on the porch of the chapel. It takes place in the foyer area, we call it, of the truck stop, because it's a one-on-one most of the time. Those drivers are out there and things happen, and they just, they see you got your chaplain shirt because we're recognized. There's several other ministries that do what we do. Just on a national level, we're more recognizable because we're kind of all over the place. But there's some, like in different areas of the country, where there's a different truck stop style ministry is at. But when they have issues, if you're there that day, that's what makes the difference. And so we've had over 34,000 decisions in the last 32 years. Now, we've been around 40, but the last 32 years we kept better records. Mm-hmm. So we've had over 700,000 in attendance at our different events we've had, chapel services, truck stops. We go to a lot of truck shows, and we have a service out in the parking lot. And so that being said, it's amazing how God uses, just like he always has, he saves one person at a time, and he uses people one at a time. So I don't want to take it all up, but I want to share a little bit about my story, how I came to be with Truckstop Ministries.
That'd be good. Yeah.
I did not start Truckstop Ministries. Matter of fact, I started off all backwards. I left high school when I was 15, rode my thumb to California. I was going to Montana, but that was before GPSs. And that's another story. But anyway, I welled up out there in California. It's amazing how God, even then as a wild child, watched over me and has used that in my life now, my testimony, to be a witness to others. And so what I want to share, number one, doesn't matter who you are, if you love the Lord and you love people, God can use you. And he can use you in Truckstop Ministries. He can use you in your local church, whatever it is where he leads you. But I don't want you to think you've got to have all the education of these men sitting around this table with me. I thank God for educated pastors, but you don't have to be that educated to share your own testimony. All you got to do is know what Jesus did for you. And so that's what happened to me. And it changed my life radically when I met the Lord. And then I'm going back out on the road as a saved man. So I'm fast forwarding through a lot of stuff, and I'm talking really fast. So y'all get this.
That's good.
But I go back out on the road, and before, when I was on the road, I passed time at a truck stop. I would, walk down the road to the bar or whatever to kill time, to the weekend, whatever. That was my norm. Then I go back on the road. I don't have a desire to go drink, but I don't know what to do with myself. And for the first time, this was in about the mid-'90s. I got saved in 1993. And this was about the mid-'90s, 95 or so, when I go back on the road. And for the first time in my life, I found Truckstop Ministries. Now, they had been around since 1981. And the chaplain there just went above and beyond ministering to me that day. I actually wound up going to church with him, went home, ate dinner with him, went back to church with him, That's when you had church morning and night, and we did all that, and
Mhm.
had a great time. So I didn't get saved that day, but he ministered to me in such a way that it encouraged me, and I never forgot about Truckstop Ministries. So fast forward, I had my own trucking company, a small company. I had 9 trucks at one time, but I always had a burden for Truckstop Ministries. I wanted to do something more, and so that's how I came to be. I just told Joe Hunter, who founded Truckstop Ministries, I said, "Man, I want to help you spread this and make it bigger. Whatever we can do to get the gospel out." And so, long story short, I sold my trucks and I wanted to go help him. I did not know that the Lord was going to take him home within that next year. So, but God knows everything. He knows the timing of it. And so here I am. And so Joe was a guy who loved everybody. It didn't matter. He really was, we say these things, but sometimes we don't live it. But he loved everybody. It didn't matter about the skin color, tattoos, earrings, none of that stuff mattered to him. He just wanted to share Jesus with you. He was just a super great guy. And I think that's the way it should be. Amen.
Hmm.
And and so I want to continue that on. So anybody that loves the Lord and loves people, and you want to see people come to know the Lord, then you can be that one. You can be the one to make a difference. And so I just want to encourage you, if in this area, as we're hoping to grow this in this area, if you're wanting to know more about it, you can go to our website, YouTube channel, call me on my cell phone,
Yeah.
whatever.
Bill, can you give us your website and contact
Yes.
information for you?
You can just go to www.truckstopministries.org, or like I said, we're on YouTube, a truck driving preacher. And my cell phone number, everybody has my cell phone number anyway, so it's 337-353-2746. And let me just say that this whole thing, the way that it's scattered around, we have chapels in Arizona and Portland and California. It's because of a networking process. Just one pastor telling me about another pastor. Matter of fact, I'm going to Nevada next and then to Portland because of a pastor I met. And this Facebook thing is really, I went to Maryland in April because a preacher heard me on Facebook and he said, "Hey, man, I want to know more about that." So eventually I went to Maryland. So wherever the Lord leads. So I just want to encourage you, if you don't live by a truck stop, but you know somebody in Denver who does.
Yeah. I can say, there's a gentleman in our church who's one of the chaplains locally here, Dennis Cornwell, and he's been doing this for a couple of years. He's a truck driver as well, and he tells me all the time that the ministry need is great out on the road. Yes. These guys, and if you drive anywhere on an interstate, truckers are there. You have to pass them or get passed by them.
Right.
One or the other. And so, we know that there's a lot of things about our economy that are dependent upon truck drivers. Mm-hmm. And many times Christians will overlook the actual spiritual ministry need that exists for the truck driver. If a truck driver if he's married and has children, if long haul, he's not seeing his family very often. He's under great temptations. And there's lots of ways that a Christian, a listener right now, can know, hey, here's how I could specifically pray for truck drivers when every time I pass a truck, I drive past a truck stop, whatever. But pray for this ministry, Truckstop Ministries, and please get a hold of Bill Blackman and find out how you can get involved in it and be a great resource for you to be engaged in.
We got to get to a break in about 30 seconds.
Okay, well, let me just say thank you again for allowing me this opportunity. And you can go to our website, look us up, and give me a call.
So if it comes down to Peterbilt versus Kenworth.
Depends on which one's got the 6NZ.
Okay, which I have no idea what that is. So, okay.
My uncle used to drive a Brockway, but I don't think they exist any
No,
longer.
Sir, not a
We'll take a short break. We've got more coming up on Pastor's Roundtable. 20 minutes after 9 o'clock, we're at 63 on News Radio 96.1 FM, News Radio 1310 KLIX, and News Radio 1310.com.